Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Oren Grant, and I'm here for a little storytelling. Here's a little disclaimer to begin with. These fan fiction stories are based on a game called Colouring Pixels from an indie game company called ToastieLabs. So all copyrights to the images belong to them. Using images created by the great people there, I personally wrote these stories and have their permission to create these videos where I read them for your enjoyment. This video contains all of the stories that I wrote for Colouring Pixels. They vary from very short to several pages long. I have split them apart from each other by a single page with the story title. Now here goes. The Mineral World. The mineral world. Long ago, in a faraway place, there was a world of beauty, a world made of minerals. Even the animals were made of one mineral or another. You could find floating jellyfish made from gemstones wandering around, or serpents made of crystals could be seen swimming through crystal oceans. You can even find crystals growing like you would find flowers. There are even one golem or another planting crystals. Oh my, where are my manners? I am Melissa, an archaeologist, historian, and other specializations. Basically, if it's something from the long past, then that's my job. Right now, I'm sat in front of a fire while the remains of a Rex watches over me. Whenever I look into the past, it makes me think about all those stories that came and went, from an ancient lizard to the cavemen. It makes me happy. One story leading into another, many smaller stories merging into big stories. The story of a single person merges with that of another and creates a story called family. Multiple family stories create one called a town. Oh my, listen to me, I'm rambling. Sorry about that. I'll get on to why I'm telling you all this. At the end of a mine shaft, you'll find the story of Arthur, a simple miner. Arthur would plod along at a casual pace, chipping away at the cave wall. Now and then he would find a rock that, once you break open, would reveal a geode, or even a laminar, both being hidden beauties in themselves. Aquamarines, purple fluorites, or even spessartines would be found. Every time Arthur would find the mineral of beauty, he would imagine all the possibilities for them, from simple diamonds, basic garnets, polished rhodochrosites, and many other gemstones. All for stuff like rings, or fancy walking staffs. I'm telling this story because it's the story of my grandfather, a wise man who taught me about the various minerals of that world. On my 10th birthday, he gave me an object that got me to choose my career. A magnificent yet unusual item, a crystal skull. I love him from the core of my heart. Now onto his story. The Magic Bakery. I finally found it. So this is the place that was recommended. a young man was stood outside a building with a sign saying bakery. I certainly hope this is the place anyway. I better go anyway. He walked up to the shop and opened the door. As he walked in, he noticed that the place felt different. As he looked around, he quickly understood. It was bigger on the inside than the outside. In the area where he stood, there was a service counter with a table and chairs for customers to sit at next to it. At the window there were racks of assorted buns, not to mention the shelves of bread behind the counter. He could see further into the store that there was the work areas where the products were made. "Hello, anybody here?" he calls out. "Yes, I'm here." An old rabbit woman in an apron walked up to him before stopping and turning to look at the oven next to the service counter. "Hey, Ruby, it looks like the flames are dying down again. Do you mind, please?" The red dragon that was curled up on the counter next to the oven uncurled itself before breathing fire into the oven. After a few seconds it stopped and curled back up again. "Thanks, sweetie." The old lady then turned to the young man. "Sorry about that. What can I do for you?" "I was told that you create custom cakes to order. Is that true?" he replied. "Yes, dear, that is true. I take it that you would like made to order cake?" she asked sweetly. "That's right. I'd like a cake from a friend Jack for all of his work." "Jack? That name sounds familiar." The lady tilted her head, causing her ears to flop a bit. "He's the local artist." "Oh, right, now I remember. Sorry about that. Old age, you know." She sighed a little. "So, what sort of cake would you like?" "I'm thinking some sort of chocolate cake with a message saying, 'To a great guy, thanks a lot.'" "One moment, please." She looked over at another work counter where there were some mice working away. "Hey, Sandy." The mouse that was sat on her weighing scales looked over at the lady. "Do we have any cocoa and fudge in stock?" Sandy jumped off the scales and ran across the counter while getting a disapproving look from a robin that was standing next to a rolling pin. Sandy scrambled around, looking on shelves and in drawers before standing on the counter and saluted at the old lady. "Thanks, Sandy." The old lady looked at the young man. "Would a chocolate fudge cake sound good to you?" "That sounds lovely, but what about the writing?" "Don't worry about that. It will come with a magic candle that will, when lit, will create flames that will form the writing." "Oh, right. I've seen them before. If I remember correctly, you light it and the message that's programmed into it will appear above the cake in zero heat flames above the cake until you blow out the candle." "Yes, dear, that's right." "Nice. I will have a cake then, please." "When would you like it for?" "When can you make it?" "I can make it tomorrow. You can pick it up tomorrow evening." "That sounds great. How much will it cost?" 2 silver pieces will do nicely." He pulls his coin pouch out and gets 2 silver pieces for her. "Thank you for your patronage. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow." The old lady spoke up with a smile. "Thanks, see you tomorrow." With that he left the store, not realizing that the mice and robin were waving him farewell. The bakery stall. A young man rode his bike along a quiet street where there wasn't all that many people moving about. He eventually stopped at the stall that he wanted and propped his bike against it. "Good morning, Mr. Fox. I see you're doing well today." Mr. Fox turned to face the young man while holding an ice bun. You could see the smile on his face by looking at his eyes. "Good day to you too. How are you today?" Mr. Fox replied. I'm doing fine, thank you. The young man smiled happily. Mr. Fox placed the ice bun down. So what can I get for you today? I'd like a loaf for my mum, please. The young man gestured towards a freshly baked loaf that was still steaming on the counter. A lovely choice, Mr. Fox replied as he went behind the counter and grabbed a paper bag. How is your mother doing? He asked while bagging the loaf up. Mum is doing fine, thank you. The illness has passed and she's recovering, the young man replied calmly. That's good to hear. So the fresh loaf is to help her eat again? Mr. Fox handed him the bagged loaf. The young man nodded. She can only eat soft food at the moment, so a soft loaf of cutting slices out with some butter and jam. He climbed onto his bike. Sounds good. Pass my regards on to your mum for me. Safe travels, Mr. Fox waved lightly. Thank you, see you again. The young man rode off. That happened. This is Amelia Davis reporting from the Plas Heli sailing event in Pearl Heli from the Welsh News Network helicopter. A female reporter was talking. Mere moments ago, the unexpected happened during this event. What you're about to see is real. No CGI here. It's as real as going to the supermarket and buying a carton of milk. She nods to the cameraman who flipped a switch so that everyone watching can see what she was talking about. What you're looking at is a giant turtle, and I do mean giant. As you can see, it's big enough that an entire town was sat on its back. Amelia was describing what she's looking at. It appeared out of nowhere, almost like it came through an invisible door. If you don't believe what I'm saying, then check social media. I'm certain that the many visitors to watch the evening are uploading their own reports for all to see. Amelia was trying to be professional in her report. Just then the giant turtle stopped with its forward motion and started to look around. Then it started making a sound much like a sad whine or cry for help. It was so loud that it created a sonic boom which caused the pilot to steady the helicopter along with a few sailing boats to be toppled over. I don't really know what's happening, but I would hazard a guess that the giant turtle is lost and calling for help. Amelia continued to report. The turtle turned around on the spot while still crying. All of a sudden, several missiles appeared and were heading straight for the giant turtle, only to explode upon hitting some sort of barrier which appeared for a mere moment. Then several fighter planes flew overhead. Looks like the Air Force has arrived and have taken the policy of shoot first, Amelia continued. Just then a head appeared hovering above the water in front of the giant turtle. However, it wasn't just any head, it was another turtle's head, which was just as big as the giant turtle. I think the mother turtle has found its lost child. Look at the size of its head. It's just as big as the giant turtle that we've been seeing, Amelia spoke up. Just then more missiles flew at the turtle, only to be stopped by the barrier again. The mother turtle saw the threat to its child and looked at the fighter planes, opened its mouth where light appeared only for seconds, like a beam of light shot out and hit one of the fighters, which exploded. The giant turtle swam towards the mother turtle's head and followed it back through the mysterious doorway. Looks like the giant turtle has returned home, Amelia spoke up. Is this a case of, well, that happened? Summoned. Man, there's nothing as peaceful as finding a nice spot in a field overlooking a city while reading a book. A man was sat on a blanket while reading, a city in the background. Just as he reached for his bottle of water, there was a loud crack. Then it started raining. That's odd, there wasn't any clouds in the sky. He started looking up just as it started raining harder. The loud crack was a thunderbolt, because it happened again and again. Then he heard it, the sound like sails flapping in the wind. All of a sudden, a familiar sight. It was a blue dragon that crackled with electricity. Nearlis, why are you on Earth? The man tossed his now soggy book to one side. The dragon landed in front of him. I'm here to bring you back to Zerantia, my master. You're needed. Every word the dragon spoke had a low grumble. The man sighed. What am I needed for this time? The Lutharian theocracy has deemed it... How shall I put it? The Lunarian theocracy has deemed you enemy of the world. The Lutharian theocracy is what now? He then looked around. Never mind, your presence here has drawn the attention of the local military. We would be better off by just leaving. The man walked up to Nearlis, where a magic circle appeared underneath them for a moment, and then with a flash, they were gone. Flour mill. It's my first day on the job picking up flour from this place, I muttered as I drove truck to my destination. Now, where was it? I was told it was around here and that it's impossible to miss. Then I noticed it. Oh, so that's it. Nice. I pull up outside the place and get out to look. Now this is a lovely place. A fixed direction windmill used for grinding flour. Lovely, I smiled. I am bread. I am bread. I am important. You cannot make a sandwich without me. Cut 2 slices from me and put ham, cheese and tomato between them for loaf. Toast me with Leicester cheddar or Wensleydale for fun. Dunk me in soup to help fill you up. Or turn me into dessert with butter and milk and whatever flavouring you like. I am bread. I am happy. I think I've forgot a title for this one. A car pulls up. Hang on, it's Autumn Walk. Oops. A car pulls up. Hang on. I believe I've got that somewhere. I am bread. That's it, an autumn walk. Sorry about that, folks. A car pulls up into an empty car park, which also had a wooded area nearby. A young woman got out of the driver's seat before opening the rear passenger door. Come on, Bobby, she said. A Jack Russell Terrier jumped out onto the ground before yap barking. The woman locked up the car. Come on, Bobs. She started walking towards the woodlands. Bobby running along nearby. The woman shivers a little. I'd rather be at home than here. They kept walking along, following a worn-in path. Bobby had found the stick and was carrying it just in front of her. After a few minutes, all of a sudden, a fog appeared. Blasted British weather, she looked around. At least it's not too thick. Just then, there was a warm breeze wafting through the area. Then she heard it. Even Bobby stopped to look around. There was a sound like loud breathing. They kept walking until they saw it. There was something wrapped around the tree. It was red, a long neck, big legs, and must have been as big as an HGV in general. What the heck? A dragon? Bobby yap barked loudly. The dragon opened its eyes while lifting its head to face them. The young woman started being scared, but the dragon simply blinked before taking a deep breath and then letting out a bunch of steam from its nostrils. The steam filled the area, causing her to cover herself in an attempt to protect herself. Even Bobby started whimpering. A moment later the steam cleared. Not just that, but the fog cleared. When she looked around, the dragon was gone. Not just the dragon, but the tree as well. Bobby, I don't know what happened, but let's not talk about it. With that, they continued walking. The Harvesters. Chapter 4. Scanners aren't showing anything out of the normal, Captain. The science officer spoke up as he worked away on his console. No bandits, no unknown alien racers. The mining station reports everything normal as well. They say the last cargo ship left through the Gamma Nova wormhole without incident only a few hours ago, the comms officer spoke up. The captain was sat in a seat in the middle of the command deck while looking out the front window at the mining station. Understood. Just another boring patrol as usual, she sighed. Such a peaceful sight. Peaceful, yes, that's a good thing though. The XO floated across the bridge and used the science officer's chair to stop himself. Okay then, time for us to move on. Let the station know that we're heading out through the Gamma Vega wormhole, and we wish them luck and to take care until next time. The captain spoke orders. Inform the fleet we're leaving. Yes, Captain, the comms officer replied before working away on a console and then talking into a headset. The mining station wishes us safe travels. Thank you. Now then, all ships head for the Gamma Vega wormhole. The captain spoke her orders. After about 30 minutes of travelling at half impulse speed, they eventually arrived at their destination, a point in space where some form of energy was spinning slowly. After a few more moments, their ship entered the wormhole, which expanded to cover them, and their ship vanished inside. The travel through the wormhole only took a few minutes, but as soon as they exited into normal space, multiple alarms started blaring. Report, the captain demanded. There was an alien ship of some kind attacking the Vega colony. The science officer spoke up. My God, it's huge. The XO was looking out the window. Everyone looked out the window, and what they saw sent controlled fear through their bones. The science officer returned to his console. By these readings, the Vega colony is basically no more. What remains is currently being consumed by that thing. What are the chances of rescuing survivors? 0. By the time we get into transport arranged, the entire colony will be gone. The tactical officer spoke up. That's not good. The captain never took her eyes off the alien ship. I want everything on that ship. Have the fleet double and triple checked confirmed readings. Yes, sir, everyone replied. 30 minutes later, a report came in. From what we can figure out, it's some sort of harvester. Imagine a bigger and more mobile version of your typical asteroid mining station. The science officer spoke up. Right, can it be destroyed? The captain asked. The tactical officer shook his head. Not easily, no. We'd need several times the amount of ships that we've got and a week of constantly attacking it. So it's a hard nut to crack, indeed. Heads up, the harvester is leaving. The science officer spoke up. They all watched as the harvester left normal space as if it made its own personal wormhole and was gone. Wait, I just had a thought, the XO spoke up. Does anyone remember those unusual rings that were discovered submerged on the fringe world? Oh, I know what you mean, the science officer replied and worked away on his console before bringing up a report which showed an image of 3 rings submerged in water. Try running a comparison between the harvester and the rings, please. Please wait, the science officer started working hard. It was about 10 minutes later when he finished. Nice catch, Commander. The science officer spoke up. By the looks of it, there are some similarities between them. The alloys, shielding frequencies, and other things. However, it was determined that the rings were some sort of containment device. Perhaps they're both from the same race but different purposes, the comms officer spoke up. I wouldn't be surprised, the science officer said. The report on the rings suggests that they were in orbit of the planet and must have held some form of spaceborne fauna. For the size of the rings, it must have been a huge creature, perhaps 3 times the size of an earth whale. The XO spoke up while looking at the report on the console. Chapter 7. I've been on this sensor satellite for 7 months now. That's 7 months into a 15-month tour of duty. Every time that I look out of the window down to my home world, I remember that a year is 15 months on this world. Every time I remember that, I also remember that a core world, crap, what was it called? Earth? Yes, Earth. Earth has 12 months in a year. I end up feeling homesick every time I look out of the window. Wait, am I homesick or am I just lonely? I have very little contact with people on this satellite other than the regular checkups from headquarters. Even the supply ship that arrives once a week is automated. I need companionship, a simple hug. Yes, a hug would be great. Perhaps even. Suddenly consoles started blaring loudly, causing him to float towards the main stations. Working away on the consoles, he realized what was happening. Is that the alien harvester ship that consumed the Vega colony? Then fear filled his body. Oh no, it's heading my way. He started pushing the emergency broadcast button that he could until seconds later there was no satellite. Chapter 13. There it is, Captain, the science officer spoke up while working at his console. Finally, the captain looked happily out the main window. Any signs of other ships? No, sir. Only Eridana's station, the tactical officer replied while glancing at his console. Understood. Contact the station and start arranging for resupply while we wait for the fleet to arrive. The captain then floated back to his seat. Yes, sir, the comms officer replied before working away on a console and chatting into a headset. How long until we arrive at the station? The XO asked. Not long, sir, the tactical officer replied. About 15 minutes at 3/4 impulse speed. Suddenly the science and tactical console started beeping. Nothing to worry about, the science officer spoke up as he started terminating alarms. Before the captain could ask what it was, the tactical officer spoke up. We're reading the arrival of the fleet through the Nova Eridanus wormhole. He tapped away on his console. The fleet has made contact, the comms officer spoke up from a console. They acknowledge our presence and confirming they will arrive at the Eridanus station in... Suddenly, alarms started blaring again. Oh no, the science officer spoke up. Let me guess, the harvester has arrived, the captain spoke up. Yes, how did you? I can see it from here. The captain pointed out the window. You could certainly see it. It was on the other side of the station, but because it was so huge, it was already dwarfing the station. The harvester will reach Eridana station in 40 minutes, the tactical officer reported. The fleet reports that they're increasing speed to full impulse and requests that we do as well, the comms officer spoke up. Understood, increase the full impulse. It's battle stations, the captain spoke up. And that, folks, is all of the stories. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I enjoyed reading them for you. Farewell and enjoy your day.